Hi folks, a warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. It's Xander here to go through the Glasgow Derby, the big post-match reaction to the Glasgow Derby. We've got John here to go through it with me. What a brilliant day for Celtic, albeit the performance wasn't great, but what do you expect from our Celtic B team? Let's bring in John. How are you, John?
Aye, I'm good, very good. Absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, look, Celtic were poor in the game, I don't care. Like you says, it's basically a squad thrown together of players that don't regularly get a game, or best players are injured. But we still go there and turn that mob over. It's absolutely beautiful.
Stunning, John. A great day for every Celtic supporter. Well done to all 7,500 supporters that went to Ibrox today, and hopefully they all get home safely with gimps running about everywhere with their mask tights all their head. We'll get into that a wee bit later on, John, the nasty side of that game, which, by the way, I knew right away that they would drag the Celtic fans into it, John. Nothing to do with the Celtic supporters whatsoever. A couple of Celtic fans spill out of the pitch and celebrate like we did at Ross County, like we did at Motherwell, like we've done at plenty of stadiums this season. And we didn't get a reaction like that from any other supporter in Scotland, John. So we will get into that a wee bit later, John. But let's get into the football then. Brilliant. Celtic into the semi-final. Another semi-final for Celtic. Another Hampden visit for Celtic. Martin O'Neill just doing a fantastic job here, John.
Well, that was a defensive performance more than anything, of course. You had to watch Celtic defend for practically 120 minutes. Yeah. Thought we were okay going forward in the first half. Second half, defended. Extra time, defended. Put to penalties, won. I don't care how we win, as long as we win and get us into that semi-final spot. Like I said, it doesn't matter how you win. We won it. They're sick. We're absolutely cock-a-hoop.
Yeah, cock-a-hoop is a good phrase to put how I'm feeling anyway, John, because I'm sitting down here. You can see the wee picture of the sun setting in the water. Just try to relax after watching that game. Just thought I'd keep it on the screen for everybody to see. But what a feeling, John. I know it went to penalties and it was very nerve-wracking for everybody. But, you know, John, the way we performed in that game, in an attacking sense, you would have took penalties.
I just kept thinking, especially the second half onwards, Celtic are actually playing for penalties. I kept telling myself that we're playing for penalties. And I was also saying that might be kind of a dangerous thing to be doing, because we know Butland's good at saving penalties, but he wasn't that good at it.
Yeah, you know something, John? That was my thoughts actually as well. He's been saving penalties a lot this season, that Jack Butland. And we've got players in the park that can't score a penalty. You know, Rio Hatate had 3 attempts at it last week, trying to score a penalty, and we've missed penalties as well this season, John. So I had these similar sort of thoughts, but, you know, it worked out perfectly for us today, John. Absolutely beautiful. And a big hats off as well, John, to the defence. Liam Scales, Austin Trusty, who wasn't suspended, by the way, did play, but played an absolute blinder. Young Arthur as well did okay when he was on the park as well. Then you've got young Dane Murray come on. He also done a brilliant job. And of course, John, Araujo, man of the match performance from him. But Sinisalo as well, John. Didn't have much to do, actually, Sinisalo, apart from come for a few cross balls. But just a brilliant performance by the defence today.
Well, when we're marking players up, it's going to be based on a defensive performance, I'm afraid. We can't really give too many high marks to attacking players. They were non-existent, practically. It was the midfield defended pretty well, I thought. The attackers, they had nothing to do the whole game, basically, apart from run back, close down and then run back again. That's what all I've seen from the attackers today. But it was a defensive masterclass from Celtic, from the goalkeeper up to the midfield. I thought they all defended to a man. Perfect, Xander. It was a perfect defensive performance. And look, you've got to expect that. You're basically playing with a Celtic second string, more or less.
Yeah.
And the amount of games, 4 games in 10 days. Are we up to Pittodrie and all that, Stuttgart and all that stuff? To come out and put a defensive performance on like that is quite remarkable, to be honest with you. I thought, I'm proud of all the defenders there. I thought they defended brilliant. A top-notch performance.
Yeah, just a wee special word on the defence. Obviously, it was a team performance because we defended as a team as well, John. The midfielders came back. And I just thought, Rangers looked more physical, and that's obviously going to happen, John. You've got the likes of Arnie Ingles out, Callum McGregor out, Kieran Tierney out, Alistair Johnson out, Cameron Carter-Vickers out. The list goes on, and I actually know what to be seen again, John. It's just, that's going to happen when all your physical players are not playing, John. They're all out injured or whatever, John, for whatever reason they're out the team. As you say, a very, very lacklustre attacking performance, John. That was the only disappointing thing. Although, in the 90th minute, John, we did have that brilliant chance. And fair play to that boy in Vuka, who came on here, thought he'd done okay. Lovely wee ball from him, and James Forrest, lay off to James Forrest, and he crosses it into the box, John, and it's straight to a Rangers defender there. But that was the chance to win it in the 90 minutes, that last second chance.
I wasn't expecting much, although what I was thinking at that point is Celtic, obviously the last minute experts when it comes to winning games late on. So I was thinking that in the back of my mind. Actually, at that point, I was thinking last minute, we're good here. We might be good for this. Of course, it was just a nice cross for James Forrest, and it's mopped up. We did nothing in the second half going forward. It was just a totally defensive performance, and second half onwards, it was 95% defending. It's hard to watch, isn't it? It's very hard to watch. You're constantly watching Rangers playing like they're Barcelona. I mean, they're playing against a second string Celtic. What do you expect? They're going to have a lot of possession, and the tiredness of the players as well. But aye, that one chance, that's what I was thinking at that point. We are the last minute experts, but it wasn't to be. But never mind, it's to be now.
Yeah, I was just thinking back on the game there, John, and the injury time, or the extra time, should I say, sorry, the half an hour extra time was a non-event for both teams, actually, John. It's as if both teams were sort of settling for the penalties. Rangers looked more tired than us, believe it or not, I thought, John, in that extra half an hour. I thought they were the ones that looked a wee bit more tired. We still had a wee bit of energy, but the Celtic lads, John, they were on their feet. They put a lot of effort in. And another, 90 minutes plus extra time, John. Then, obviously, we played midweek there against Aberdeen, and then just last Sunday we were at Ibrox as well. So we were looking a wee bit tired the last 5 minutes of that injury time, but we held out, John, for the penalty kicks, and I'm glad we did, John, because the penalty kicks themselves, brilliant. Didn't miss any of our penalty kicks, scored all of our penalty kicks. Rangers missed 2 penalty kicks. It was Tavernier, John, who hit the bar with his first penalty kick. I was sort of shocked at that. I thought he was a guarantee to score the penalty with all the practice he's had. But no, John, he misses it, and then Gassama hits his over the bar as well, John, and every one of our players scores our penalties. Rio Hatate, Oxlade Chamberlain, Big Trusty also got up there with a penalty, and of course the winning goal from Cvancara, John. The big man didn't do much when he came on, but he didn't have any service, of course. But a brilliant moment for him, John, personally, for Cvancara. Getting that winning penalty, scoring the goal, slots it away beautifully, and everybody from that second on is in heaven.
I watched the penalty kick shootout, and Tavernier's obviously hit the bar, and I was wondering where his golf swing went to. He's normally got a wee golf swing after a penalty. Didn't see that today.
I didn't see that, no. I think you would have seen it with a score, mind you, because he's just trying to rub everyone up the wrong way with that nonsense. But I think Martin O'Neill set the team out the other day, John, with totally different tactics. I think you're right. You set the team out more defensively. He started with more physical players on the park. I think obviously Callum was out because he's injured. So, we had Luke McCowan, who is a physical player, in that number 6 role. Then we had Nygren, who was sort of a non-existent in the game. Rio had a decent game as well. I've already mentioned the defence, big solid defence there, John. But I was surprised we didn't see Sriracha anywhere.
I was thinking that myself. If Celtic want to get up the park here, they've got to bring on Sriracha to put a bit of energy down the flanks. Nothing. He stuck with skills all throughout that game. But that, I think, like he says, I think that was Mark's plan, to defend and play for penalties. It just looked like that to me all through that game. But the first half, I thought we were okay. It was a kind of to and fro in it. The first half, it was they had a wee bit of pressure, then Celtic had some pressure, and then they would have a wee bit of pressure again, then Celtic again. So kind of to and fro in the first half. Kind of, it was all right to watch. Second half, Rangers dominating it, Celtic dominating the defensive side of the game. So that was two completely different halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, which has been happening all season actually. But fair play to every one of the 11 lads that we had on that part, John. Considering the games we've played, considering the players we've got out, I think to come through that other side, John, and get into that semi-final, I think it's remarkable. To be honest with you, absolutely remarkable.
It is. I mean, we've not got much to brag about going forward. We had this shot and that shot, we did this and that could have been a goal, because nothing happened for Celtic. Butland wasn't tested once. Not once.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to talk about in that sense. But there is a 10 out of 10 defensive performance to talk about. We've seen a different side to Celtic today, Xander. That's a side of Celtic we haven't seen this season. Celtic this season have been very, very poor in defence. Very poor. And yet the day they go out there with basically a second string team and keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, if we can go to Stuttgart and win, John, going to Ibrox and winning shouldn't be an issue. But again, it's back to that original point. 7 or 8 players out, John. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, the lads. Well done getting into another semi-final. And by the way, the draw for that semi-final is Sunday night at 9:30 after the St Mirren game. So we'll keep an eye on who we get in that one. All right, John. The goals that were disallowed. Djeidi Gassama gets his headed goal. Nice goal, actually. Beautiful goal, actually. Worthy of winning any game, but big scales. He is offside, and he's about 6 inches offside there.
I'm no convinced that's offside, Xander. They draw that line, and that it doesn't prove anything to me. What about moving the camera angle down a wee bit towards the corner flag? They're showing you from behind. If you show a line from behind the ball, it can look offside by an inch or two, but move the camera right in line. To me, I'm not convinced that was offside. I am not convinced that 100% that was offside.
Yeah, I looked as though his foot was offside, John, but as you say, that angle isn't, that angle's from the halfway line, whereas the player is on the 18-yard box, so, or it's inside the box, isn't he? So, yeah, I know what you're saying, John, I know what you're saying, but we need to move on from it. It did look offside from that angle for me, John.
From that angle, it does look like he's 2 inches offside or an inch offside, whatever. But like I says, move the camera another few inches towards the corner flag, and he looks onside. Yeah, I'm sorry, Xander, I'm just not convinced. It may very well be that he is an inch or two offside, but for that angle, I'm not 100% convinced with that. No way.
Yeah. Okay, a wee bit there's John. The handball, that's clear handball you're ever going to get, I suppose, isn't it, from the big defender, Fernandez handball, so that's rightly disallowed. So it remains nothing each. Other wee things that happened in the game, John, the handball, not the handball, the foul on Trusty, the exact same thing that Trusty got a 3-match ban for, John, a forceful punch on the arm. I think it was your big man Shermitty that did it. A forceful punch on Trusty's arm this time to try and get the ball back. Trusty was trying to free himself last week or 2 weeks ago. Exact same foul, John. Trusty gets sent off. Shermitty gets nothing.
Okay, I've got to go on there. I mean, I says to you at the time, it's not a sending off for Trusty, but he's got to keep his hands to himself. It's a very soft one for Trusty against Hibs. Very, very soft. I think roles reversed. If you're offering a red card for Trusty, then that's a red card as well. So it's one rule for them and another rule for everybody else, or Celtic at least, because it's the same thing and nothing's done about it. Absolutely nothing. Is play on, get on with it. Not even looked at.
Yeah, that's it. There's no consistency at all in the Scottish game when it comes to refereeing, and that's why everybody's got their problems with it, isn't it, John? It's quite very, very poor. And the early sort of handball, obviously, it's hands by his side. The ball hits off him. He doesn't raise his arm. Celtic player in the box. We play on from that one as well. No penalty there. VR had a look at it, and yet play on was the decision. All right, John. That's the main things that happened in the 90 minutes. There was nothing really else to shout about, really, that I can remember anyway. There was a bit of turn and throwing. I noticed that Sinisalo came out quite a lot out of his box to clear the ball. That was quite good to see. He's got a good reading of the game, Sinisalo.
I thought Sinisalo was top notch. He was coming out and heading the ball halfway inside his own half and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought outrageous goalkeeping display by Sinisalo. I thought it was incredible. But not there isn't much to talk about, and it was a crap game, to be honest with you. I may have heard that commentator saying this wonderful game of football, what a treat and all that stuff. What are you talking about? The game you watched? That game was garbage. It was good for a Celtic fan's point of view, from a Celtic fan's point of view, because we won the game, and penalties to sicken you at that dump. But other than that, it was a terrible spectacle. It was just a bad game.
It was a poor game, and there's actually nothing to talk about in the extra 30 minutes either. That's both teams were just waiting on the final whistle going to take it to penalties. Then we lose the toss. I mean, you're thinking at that point, we lost the toss as well. The penalties are going to get taken into the Copland Road, the Copland Road and the Rangers end, John. The Copland Road end, yeah. And I was like that right away. Here we go. We're taking the penalties into the Rangers fans, John. But that wasn't the case, was it, John? But what did you think? Well, we lost the toss, and we lost the toss to take the first penalty as well, John. So the penalties get took at the Rangers end, and the Rangers get to take the first penalty. What did you think at that point?
I don't really think much of that stuff. It is what it is, isn't it? I mean, apart from I would have preferred the penalties to be at the Celtic end, of course. But that's always maybe a slight advantage when you've got the opposition fans right in your face. Yeah. But taking the first penalty, I don't know if that can be a hindrance. Well, it certainly was a hindrance for them today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. They worked it perfectly, didn't it? Even though we were away from the Celtic fans in the Broomloan Road end, it didn't make a jot of difference because every one of the boys that stood up for Celtic hit the penalties well, extremely confident, John. I thought every penalty was absolutely brilliant. Goalkeepers had no chance with any of them. And the Rangers players, John, looking at their penalties, they looked a nervous wreck. Tavernier looked like a nervous wreck. And obviously the other boy that missed the penalty, it looked like a nervous wreck. Who was it again?
Bogus Gassman.
Gassama. Gassama's a man, as they say, over in Govan.
It was right into Rose Head.
Yeah, that's it, John. Yeah, right into Rose Head. It was beautiful when that happened, John. But the other two penalties as well were under the goalkeeper. So every one of the penalties was very nervous. And I'm surprised at that, John, because they had more possession of the ball during the game. So I thought maybe they would have been a wee bit more confident. Let's have a wee look at some of the stats. 59% possession to them, 41 for Celtic. 24 shots Rangers had. I don't remember them having 24 shots, but they must have done. They must have been counting corners as shots. I don't know. 1 shot for Celtic. 0 shots on target, clearly, for Celtic. 6 on target for Rangers. 16 fouls Rangers committed. Celtic committed 19 fouls. But it doesn't matter, John, really, about stats, does it? Because the only stat that matters was the start in the top left-hand side of the screen at full time. Celtic won 4-2 penalties.
That's all that matters. I don't remember them having all these shots, by the way.
No.
I don't remember Sinisalo having any saves to make. Apart from, coming for corners and stuff like that, punching the ball away, coming out and heading it and stuff like that. I don't remember him having a save to make. Yeah, there was a lot of defensive blocks though, wasn't there, John? I remember that. There was shots going in. They were nowhere near the target, but there must have been on target for the defence to block them. And what a job the defence did at the blocking. But did you think of young Arthur, John, in the first half and the start of the second half?
At Ibrox and that Cauldron, John, I thought that boy acquitted himself brilliant. In fact, I was surprised when he came off.
So was I. I thought he looked cool and calculated. He didn't look phased in any way, shape or form at all. I thought that young guy was brilliant. I'm like you, I was surprised he got took off. Maybe he was carrying a wee knock, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised with Celtic this season. A wee knock, wouldn't it be unusual, would it?
No, Celtic, a wee knock, FC. You're absolutely right, John. It's, the way you've got to look at it, John, right? Let's no sum up. Let's have a wee quick look at what's actually happened here, right? Rangers have been getting all the plaudits all season long. Danny Rownegg has been getting all the praise. I've never heard so much praise for a manager that's sitting third in the league. Celtic have now knocked Rangers out of both domestic cup competitions as well this season, John, and all the praise is headed over towards Ibrox, John. But we've been saying from day one, why is the Scottish press giving the Rangers all this praise? Why are they getting so much, everybody, even the English press were going on about Rangers as well, John, not just the Scottish press. And look where they are, third in the league and out of both cup competitions. And John, I think they had 1-1 in Europe, was it? 1-1. They sat about fourth bottom of the Europa League table as well. So where's all this praise coming from?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't rate them as a team. I think they've got some good players. Don't get me wrong. The Rangers have got some good players in their team. But all this hype about them, I don't know where that comes from. I really, really don't know where the hype comes from. Because like he says, they're sitting third in the league. They're pretty much the same as Celtic. They're a one-half team. They perform well in one half. And they've won nothing yet again. But they seem to be, when you listen to BBC Radio Scotland and all that, did you know, say, Tom English was saying Celtic have no chance today or something like that? Rangers are winning this. Yeah,
that's right. I was listening to the chat at the start of the game, or 10 minutes before the game. Tom English again, John. Wallop of the week doesn't even cover it, to be honest with you. He's talking about it. Celtic have no chance, too many players out. I can make another video about that clown, to be honest with you. And it's the exact same videos that I made last week. And what is it he's got against Celtic, this guy? Give the boys, the professional players that are on that park, a chance at least. We know how bad Celtic have been all season. We understand that. But both they still said Celtic have got a chance. You said Celtic, in fact, you were bang on your prediction, John. You said it would be a draw and it would go to penalties, Celtic would win in penalties. Or did you say Celtic would win in extra time? Can't remember. But you got it right, John. You said it would be a draw and Celtic would win. You got it right. I said Celtic would win 2-1. But then game is Celtic won. Celtic are into the semi-final. And you've got this clown, this walloper, Tom English, yet again on the BBC. Listen to it back, folks. If you don't believe me, you'll get that full Sports Sound show, the Glasgow Derby special on YouTube. Listen to it back at the start of the game. Celtic have no chance, it says, John.
Well, I wasn't expecting Callum McGregor to be missing. None of us were expecting that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Celtic team had come out by that point, I would imagine.
Yeah, the squad lineups had been announced at that point, yeah. So he's looking at McGregor and Tierney being out and saying we had no chance. But John, he's in the public eye. We can say that to each other if that's what we feel, talking to each other. But he's in the public eye. He's a sports journalist. That's some outstanding journalism, that, John. Celtic have no chance. And what happens? Celtic put him out of the cup.
Well, he's the one with egg on his face, isn't he? He's got to sit and take abuse off all the Celtic fans for saying that. He's a bit like Hugh Keevins, isn't he? Celtic no chance, Celtic no chance. He's a bit like him. But he's just making himself look a bigger muppet than he already is, to be honest with you, if he's coming out with statements like that, because not a ball's been kicked and he's shouting about Celtic's no chance. It just shows you how he's no professional journalist, put it that way. He's very unprofessional. If you want to ask my opinion, if you want to talk about unprofessionalism, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I just keep getting flashbacks, John, of the Celtic supporters today. It was just brilliant to see them in that full stand. It was tremendous to see it. It was the singing their wee hearts out, John. And there's, you know, they were there for 3 hours before kick-off and they were still singing their hearts out, you know, 5-6 hours later. Fair play to every single one of the men, women and children that were there, John. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. And I had to laugh at the Rangers tifo as well. Did you see that, John? I don't know, that was getting raised, a red monster or something. Getting raised.
It was a line.
It was a line, was it? I don't know. I just saw a big blue background with a red monster, so I don't know what it meant. But if you're saying it's a line, then okay. But that's why the Celtic fans were killing themselves laughing at that. The cameras zoomed in on the Celtic fans when they raised that banner, and the Celtic fans were pointing at it and killing themselves laughing.
It just looked like somebody drew it on a big bit of paper and cut it out. Oh, they're a laughing stock. Honestly, their fans are a disgrace as well as a laughing stock, what I've seen at the end of that game. But we'll get into that, what I've seen for their fans at the end of that game. But either tifos, a tifo's a tifo, innit? I mean, they want to make stuff like that and everybody's laughing at them. It's up to them. And what's that other thing, by the way, that stupid drone every game? There's a camera above their stadium, the drone, as if it's some stadium. You know what I mean? As if they're playing at Wembley or something like that. An absolute den, and they're putting a drone above to show everybody that. What an embarrassment.
Aye, it is a pretty old building. It does look quite bad, John. I mean,
it's rough. It's rough, Sander. If they had a nice stadium, I would say that's a good shot of the stadium. I'm not against the stadium. It's an embarrassment, Sander, putting a drone up to show that off.
Yeah, it's an outdated stadium, John. You're absolutely bang on. It's a stadium that was built in the early 80s. It's well outdated. That doesn't matter, John. They can
the 1880s.
They can put drone footage up with that if they want. That's no problem. But let's get into that, John. Let's get into this thing that happened after the game. Right, I said at the very start of the podcast there that I knew right away that they would drag Celtic into this. Now, I looked at what was happening there, John, right? I've saw it at Ross County, I've saw it at Motherwell, I've saw it at Dundee. Celtic fans spill onto the park when they get a late one and they win the game. And that's exactly what happened at Ibrox. Maybe 50 or so fans onto the park, cuddling the Celtic players, party atmosphere. I even saw young children getting selfies taken with Celtic players and adults getting selfies taken with Celtic players. It was all brilliant, jolly. No harm whatsoever until the Gimps come running on, John, with the blue tights over the face. Absolutely an embarrassment to the whole of the world football, John. World football embarrassment. Not just Scottish football, world football. Them running on that park like wee Waynes, wee Neds running on because their team got beat in the Scottish Cup by the champions, I might add. It was an utter embarrassment, John. And then you've got the flares. The flares getting thrown. Now, this is where I want to bring in Tom English again, because I listened to it on the radio when it happened while I had the TV on. Tom English says flares getting thrown at each other. Now, the only flares that were getting thrown was flares getting set off and fireworks getting set off into the Celtic fans, whereas there's young children standing there watching the game with their parents, John, and the animals are setting off fireworks into amongst the Celtic fans. And a couple of the Celtic fans pick up the fireworks that they received and threw them back towards the Rangers fans. I mean, that's fair enough, John. You might get rid of them, didn't you? But Tom English, John, both sets of supporters. I just knew that the Scottish press would have that viewpoint on it.
Aye, I heard that on Premier Sports as well. They were saying both sets of fans throwing flares at each other. Mm-hmm. They Gimps ran on the park with they're wearing their man's best blue tights for Orange Walk or something like that they know.
Right, go on.
But anyway, honestly, that's right. They know who's done that, right? It's they Muppets behind the goals that bang the drum for 90 minutes, right? It's them, that section there that's always behind the goals. What do you call them? What's the name of them? The Bells or something like that?
Onion Bells.
The Onion Bells.
Yeah.
They came on the park. Now, if their board has seen that and Disney banned their fans, Definitely. That club's no run properly. You can't let a bunch of guys, do you know who it is? You know exactly who it is. And other faces are on camera without masks. So they've got everybody's face for that onion bears. They've got all their faces. And then when they run on the park, they're so thick, they put a mask on when they're already exposed who it is. That's how thick they are. And they run it right up to the Celtic fans, about 60 or 70 Neds. Honestly, total muppets. They wouldn't do that to a guy in the street unless there's 60 or 70 or 80 of them. They run up into where families are sitting and fire flares into the Celtic fans. And the Celtic fans are obviously throwing them back out. They don't want to be injured or anything like that, so they've got to throw them back out. And the Celtic fans are getting dragged into this by the media. Nothing to do with the Celtic fans. Absolutely nothing. Their fans are a disgrace. I'm not saying all Rangers fans, by the way, but that mob that did that are a disgrace to the game. A total disgrace, an embarrassment. The way they dress is an embarrassment. Just scum, Xander. Just total scum. And I'm not talking about all Rangers fans, by the way. If any Rangers fans are listening, I'm talking about them behind that goal that make that noise. Scum of the earth, firing flares into thousands of people. Highly dangerous. And why the cops didn't circle on them and arrest every single one of them is mind-boggling.
Yeah, and it all started from some muppet coming from the main stand trying to attack one of the Celtic coaches. He was arrested and taken away, and that's when they all ran on towards the Celtic supporters who were in party mode. And why not? Why wouldn't you be in party mode?
Was Cvancara? I think Cvancara was hooked by a Rangers fan.
Well, he'd done his interview after the game. There was blood on his top, John. So I don't know what happened. We will hear more about that as the days go on, John. We will hear more about what happened to Cvancara. But he did have blood on his top, so there's a possibility he's had some sort of incident with one of them as well.
There was. I think he was punched by a Rangers fan. I'm not 100% sure, but the rumour is he was punched by. I never seen it, but. It's sickening the way they are. I mean, it's good to see they're dignified in defeat, isn't it? Just like last week with their players. I didn't see much Mr. Snidey, smiley, smirky, walnut whippy Danny Rowe, wasn't he? That usual chirpy self a day.
Oh, it just gets better. Walnut whippy.
What's that all about, that hair? Know what I mean? Big walnut whip.
Well, you know, John, you saw the start of the game, the camera panned in on him, he could that smirk he had in his face as if he knew he was going to be winning the game, John. That smirk is wiped well and truly off his face, John. And poor Martin O'Neill, I've just put the video on, actually, the post-match interview video. It's there if anyone wants to hear it or watch it. He looked stressed out. He's not, John. He looked extremely stressed out, Martin O'Neill, after that. You know, I think he needs to go home and have a wee lie down, Martin, because that was maybe too much for him. You've got to bear in mind the age of the man, the legend, 74-year-old, and he has to put away gimps running around about him. I think he's got to go home, take a wee rest. Obviously, we don't want Martin O'Neill. We don't want anybody involved in any of that nonsense, John. I hope everybody gets home safely. But Martin looked a wee bit stressed after that, John.
He does. I mean, yeah, he's got to look after himself. He's quite fit, Martin O'Neill, anyway. He does look after himself.
Yeah.
He's got to look after himself. Martin, of course, says he's an absolute legend. He pulled out a masterclass in defensive mastery the day. It was a total masterclass. See that mob running on. I kind of get that image at my head. All the daft blue tights around their face. It was like an explosion in a blueberry factory. It was like something with Benny Hill in it.
I don't realise how stupid it looks, you know. And now the world media have got a sort of a frame of it, if you like, a 5-minute frame of them acting like total idiots and embarrassing the Scottish game, John. That's the Scottish game done as far as Britain and the rest of the world and Europe is concerned, John, because they're just laughing at us because of that. And the other side of it as well, John, I can't see us getting that full Broomloan stand anytime soon in the future.
No, but look, Rangers have got to look at their own fans, never mind the Celtic fans. Celtic fans were attacked today. Celtic fans were attacked by a bunch of Nids. That mob they call the Union Bears behind the goals. That Rangers Football Club know who sits in these seats. They know exactly who they are. They're unmasked all throughout the game. Every one of their faces is there. Something needs done about it, and the cops let them away with it as well, by the way. Just let them run back up the touchline and into the crowd. Instead of huckling every single one of them for firing missiles into the Celtic fans, firing flares into the fans. How dangerous is that? It's unbelievable if nothing gets done about that, by the way.
Yeah,
but by the way, if you don't make a video with that Benny Hill theme tune with Ray tights on their face, something wrong with you.
I'm going to make videos, John. I mean, the game's no long finished. I put the interview on with Martin. That's about it so far. But I will be.
Well, that's what I'm going to challenge you today. Is get Benny Hill theme tune with tights on their face, because apart from being very dangerous, what they've done, it's also the most laughable thing I've ever seen in my life. They're supposed to be some kind of hard men or something, are they?
It's very dangerous putting the tights on their face, you mean?
Well, it depends who. Just depends who was wearing them before them.
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen one with skid marks on it.
That is dangerous. I know we're laughing, John, but there is a serious side to this. There really is. They're going to drag a great club and a great club name.
It was funny, but I know what they'd done. I was raging at the time. They were firing them into the Celtic fans, but at the same time, you can only have a laugh at that. It's just so embarrassing. I'd be ashamed. I would, honestly, Xander, if that was me, I would be ashamed of myself. Just having that audacity to put a pair of women's knickers in your face and think you're a hard man.
But the Scottish press is going to drag us through the mud in this one, John. They're going to drag Celtic Football Club's name through the mud and attach us to their Rangers, John. As the board said a few years ago, we're not half of anything, and that certainly stands today, John. We are not half of anything that happened the other day.
No, it's nothing. I mean, Celtic fans, a few, I don't know how many of us, say 40, 50, maybe 60 maximum, onto the edge of the pitch, celebrating winning a game. We've seen Celtic doing that a few times. A big game as well, you've got to remember. The tensions are high. Celtic fans have been locked in there since 10 o'clock in the morning. They've been there for how many hours by that point? 5 hours?
Yeah, so 5, 6 hours, yeah.
5, 6 hours at that point. It's relief. They've won the game. They got their reward for their patience and their impeccable behaviour. They got their reward with a win. And you're going to get, passions are running high. Celtic fans, they're not intending to run on and attack Rangers fans. That's not their intention. That is not their intention. They're just happy. It's an overspill. It's happened a lot. It happens with Rangers fans as well. We see it with them as well. But at no time do you ever see any opposition fans running on to attack right up to the Celtic end and fire missiles into the crowd. That's the difference here. Celtic fans were attacked today. So it's on Rangers' head. It's on their head. It's nothing to do with Celtic.
But that's not the way the press will spin it, John. We all know that. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm watching Cvancara getting selfies with young kids and other Celtic players getting selfies with other Celtic supporters, John. The camera phones are out. It was a happy, bright, joyous mood. And then you've got this dumpling from the main stand, gets arrested, and then it takes off from there. Unbelievable, John. Unbelievable. And we're going to get dragged into it. But that's up to the Celtic board, John. Let's see what the Celtic board do about this, because they better stick up for their supporters, John.
You'd imagine they would. If they watched the full incident back, you'll see where the trouble came from. It was certainly not the Celtic fans. They never caused any trouble. They never run right up to the Rangers end, did they? It was the Rangers fans that ran right up to the Celtic end, if you want to call them fans. I'm talking all the good, honest Rangers fans that go to watch their team, fair play to you. We're not having a go at yous. We're having a go at the muppets that sit behind your goals wearing women's tights. That's what we're having a go at. It's nothing to do with the decent, because there is decent Rangers fans go and watch the games. But there's no excuse for that. Getting out the stand, running the full length of the pitch to fire flares into the away fans. And why they weren't arrested, I don't know. Because the cops know who they are. The cops are pushing them off the park. Right, off you go, boys. Right, that's you've been bad boys. Don't do that. If that was the old days, to be battered there, he'd be a truncheon and thrown out the back of a van.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. They're going to get away with it, John. If they're not going to get away with it, Celtic will get dragged into it as well. And the exact same thing happened, you've got to remember, in the Scottish Cup final with Hibs. The exact same things happened. The Hibs fans spilled onto the park to celebrate winning the first cup in 100 years. And the Rangers fans done a pitch battle, running battle with them. The exact same as what happened today, John.
It was nowhere. See, what happened with the Hibs fans, what happened today was nowhere near as bad as that. The Hibs fans were taunting them a wee bit. They did run kind of past the halfway line a wee bit. So it's a bit different, Xander. I don't want to put Celtic fans in that. I know exactly what you're saying, by the way, but I don't want to put Celtic fans in that same category as what happened at Hampden with the Hibs fans, because it was nothing like that with the Celtic fans today. Nothing like it. Not even close. It doesn't take much to upset their fans, Santa. You've got to remember that. It doesn't take much to upset them. They're bad losers, same as their players, bad losers. So the only way not to upset them is by just getting off the park after you win. That way they'll not be so upset.
Yeah, well, they're on the park and they're throwing missiles and that as well, and that's the fans throwing missiles at players on. But no, what I'm talking about is the same club that's involved. I know there's a flow happening here that happens quite often here, John. Hibs, Rangers, Celtic, Rangers. It's only happening with one club that's involved when they're playing different clubs, if you know what I mean. There's a wee rhythm here, John. It's all around the Rangers Football Club, John. So that's what I mean by that. It's very similar. Hibs fans were partying, they're a wee bit further up the park, but they were still only partying, John. And the Rangers fans couldn't handle it. The exact same as what happened today. Only there was no rockets launched into the crowd, John. The Rangers should get a massive fine for that.
Something's got to be done about that. You can't let a club away with that, Sander. You can't let a club away with that. You just can't. You can't allow fans to run from one end of the stadium to the other and fire missiles into the fans. Where there's wee kids and that sitting watching that. Families out for a day out. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Horrible to see. And like I keep saying, why the cops never bounced a truncheon off every single one of their heads and threw them into the back of the van is mind-boggling. They hushed them back into where they were sitting. Rangers know exactly who this is. They know who every one of them are. The wee Neds that sit there. So, something should be done about that. They've got their names and their addresses through their season books or whatever. So they know who it is, and if they don't turn them over, then their whole club's just poison from top to bottom.
Yeah, well, Rangers shouldn't have any say in the matter. The cops should be finding out who these season ticket holders are, John. But we'll wait and see what happens with that. The press, John, also sickening Fat Emma Dodds on the Premier Sports, John. Rangers this, Rangers that. I mean, she's talking about Rangers, obviously, and then when it's Celtic, it's them, they, them. How are these people getting main jobs, anchor roles on major sports channels, John, when they can't even say the name Celtic?
They're all like that. I think some of the ex-Rangers players, they're pretty good. They don't mind. They seem pretty well balanced, especially in Premier Sports. Though Arfield, I thought he acquitted himself quite well today. But you've got the rolling scrambled egg man, their manager. He can't say Celtic. He refuses to say Celtic. That's brainwashing, Xander. That is total brainwashing.
Yeah, and that's 3 games a rolling sausage has had against Martin O'Neill, and he's not won one of them. So there you go, John. So Martin O'Neill's got his number. Not a problem. another one I wanted to mention on the press was that Tom English again, John. Rangers fans did, well, this is what he said after the incident with the gimp masks and that the day, John, the tights. He says the Rangers fans did well to not be goaded by the Celtic supporters. Now, where were Celtic supporters goading Rangers supporters at any point? Not once. And I'm going to put this in a video as well, John, actually. They were not goaded at the start by the other lot, he says, John. This idiot Tom English, I don't know if maybe he's annoyed about the video that I put on last week, because that's sitting at 150,000 on Facebook views, slagging Tom English, John. But for him to say the Rangers fans were not goaded by the other lot is disgusting.
Oh, he's disgusting. He's disgusted, and he's disgusted with his team getting beat again. But this is another one that can't say Celtic. Well, you can say, I've heard him saying Celtic, but if he should refer to Celtic fans as the other lot, he should be looked into as well. He should be off the radio. He shouldn't be referring to one group by their proper name and somebody else by the term that lot. That just shows you where his allegiances lies under. If he can't refer to the Celtic fans as Celtic fans, he's a wrong one as well.
Well, I'm going to try and dig out the video, John, and I will make a video on that, because I think that's disgusting when the Celtic fans have done nothing wrong here, nothing whatsoever, and he's hitting them out with the other lot when he's referring to Rangers fans as Rangers fans, John. So anyway.
Did they not point out the fact Celtic fans were attacked? Celtic fans never went on, ran the full length of the pitch. Celtic fans spilled onto the pitch, celebrating like you would do in any big one. Most fans, it's passionate. It's a passionate game. A big derby match. A wee bit of passion shown from the Celtic fans. They're happy. They're celebrating at the edge of the pitch. And then the other lot and their Moz knickers come screaming down the full length of the pitch to fire missiles into the crowd. That's the other lot.
Yeah, I got it the wrong way around there, John.
Oh, 100% they got it the wrong way around. I mean, they're subhuman then. That's no right. If you're prepared to dress like that, there's something no right with you anyway. You're no right in the head. If you think it's okay to put women's tights on your face and look like something at an Iron Brew advert or something like that, or what'd you call that? I mean, the Tango adverts or something like that.
Aye.
If you think that's normal, there's something no right with you, Xander. Honestly, there's something no right with you if you think that's, I don't know, is it meant to look like you're a hard man or something like that, or tough? Because if I pass by somebody in the street like that, all I would do is laugh at them. What are you thinking about? Come on, I'll take you back to the hospital.
Okay. All right, John. We'll calm it down and we'll wind it back to the football, right? Because we've had
it's just a joke, Xander. Come on, you can't do it but laugh at that. It's just, I don't know. You're no right in the head if you think that's normal. That is far from normal. That's subnormal.
Yeah, if you're willing to set off fireworks and set them off rockets into a crowd where there's children and women sitting watching a football game, you should be jailed for it. That's the bottom line. Every one of them should get a jail sentence for that, John. All right, John. One memory word on Charlie Mulgrew on the panel after that big incident, John. Really disappointed in Charlie Mulgrew. He could have spoke up for the Celtic fans. I know he's trying to keep himself in a job and he's trying to be professional. I understand that, Charlie, but stick up for the Celtic supporters who've done absolutely nothing wrong. And mentioned it's the Rangers fans that approached the Celtic fans. I mean, that's all you have to say. You don't need to say any more, but he's just kept his mouth shut, John. What did you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, if he's sitting at Ibrox, and he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. Of course, he's sitting in the safety of a studio, so he can probably say what he wants. Well, he doesn't want people turning against him. I can see his point and no want to. He knows what this country's like, Sander. He knows exactly what this country's like. If he did say anything about that, it was the Rangers fans that did the attacking, he'd be hounded off the media. It's as simple as that. Big Charlie Mulgrew's no a suit taker. No like Pat Nevin or listen to him on that Derby game last week when I listened back to that guy. What an utter joke he is, Pat Nevin.
Yeah.
They're all bad, but the proper Celtic men, like Big Charlie Mulgrew, the only soup takers, they tend to keep themselves quiet, Xander, so they can keep themselves in a job.
Yeah, but it's okay for Emma Dodds and Michael Stewart to say it's both sets of supporters. When somebody should have spoke up for the Celtic fans who were partying, enjoying the day. It had been a long day for every one of them, John, and they were enjoying the moment, and not one person in the press on the BBC or Premier Sports spoke up for the fantastic Celtic supporters at Ibrox Stadium the day, John. Right, we'll
the Celtic fans were amazing, Xander, absolutely brilliant. Well done to every single one of them, sitting for nearly 6 hours in that place. And you deserved your wee party at the end. Hope nobody was injured with the fireworks that were launched into the Celtic fans. Of course, it was all the Celtic fans' fault. You know, Celtic fans were firing fireworks into the Rangers fans. Imagine that was Celtic doing that, by the way. Imagine that was Celtic fans that done that. Can you imagine what the headlines would be if that was Celtic fans doing that? But you'll hear, I guarantee you will hear nothing about that because it's them. You'll hear nothing about it. By the way, who was your man of the match today?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go into a wee bit on the match, John. We'll give some player rankings. We'll get back into the football in a wee minute and we'll do the man of the match. But I just wanted to mention the flares that were going back towards the Rangers fans were red. So it's just the flares that they were firing into the Celtic supporters, and the Celtic fans are getting rid of them, obviously because they're very dangerous, and they're throwing them back to where they came from. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Right, John. Yeah, let's get back into the football then. We should be celebrating. I know we talk about it, it brings you down a wee bit, but look at the bigger picture here, John. We're into another semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Rangers will not win a domestic trophy, as in cups. You know, they've still got a wee shout with the league, of course. But as the 2 cups, they're out. Celtic have knocked them out of both cups. Absolutely tremendous. A day of celebration for Celtic Football Club. And yeah, the performance wasn't great, John. We won in penalties. You know, it doesn't really matter how we get there, but we got there at the end of the day. But individual player rankings, John, let's go through it. You said at the start there that there's going to be like a sort of defensive scores for each player, not in an attacking sense. But we'll go through it anyway. Sinisalo and goal, John.
I thought he was outstanding. Sinisalo came for everything. Totally fearless. Unlucky with the 2 penalties, I know. Nearly saved 2 of them as well. Give him a 9. 9 for Sinisalo.
Yeah, 9 for Sinisalo, John. Big Schmeichel. Oh, it's I've not looked back since he came in between the sticks. Sinisalo, big Schmeichel. We know he's a decent man, decent goalkeeper. But would we be into that semi-final? Schmeichel was playing, who knows? We can only guess. But Sinisalo, I'll give him a 9 as well, John. Fantastic. We're not going to do a submittee like last week and give 10s, John. We'll never do that. Like the BBC gave Shermitty last week. And by the way, where was Shermitty today? Rose Ed shots, shots gone out for throw-ins. Back to normal for Shermitty, I suppose, John, with that stunning Celtic defence. Araho, John, marks out of 10.
I'm not going to give him as high a mark as I did Sinisalo, but he had a really good game in defence. Had that burst and run forward as well. I mean, he must have been knackered. The amount of games and time the boys have played. I'll give him an 8. I thought he was outstanding today.
Excuse me. Aye, 8.5 for me, John. I thought it was one of the men of the match in this game of the day, John. We'll get the man of the match in a wee minute, but Sinisalo's up there with Araho, sorry, is up there with a chance. I'll give him 8.5. Moving into the centre halves, Benjamin Arthur.
He never lasted the whole game, of course, but when he was on, I thought he was probably our best player at that point. I'll give him an 8 as well, Xander. The time he was on, I thought he was outstanding.
He looks very calm, didn't he, John? Calm player, young man, very calm. I'll give him a 7.5, just because he didn't play the full game. And then we get to Big Trusty, another rock in the defence. But you giving him, John?
I thought the big man was outstanding today, Xander. Threw himself in front of everything. Absolutely everything. 9. I'm giving him a 9 today. I thought it was a defensive performance, and he was the kind of your main man in there. I thought he was outstanding. 9 for him.
So I was taking a wee drink. I do what you normally do. Yeah, why not? 9, stunning performance for the big man. Block after block after block. Won everything in the air. Scored his penalty as well, John. So, yeah, 9 for me. Moving over to the left-hand side, we had big Liam Scales as well. Another brilliant performer of the day. Playing in his sort of a natural position, John. He was a left-back originally. Celtic put him in the centre-half position. What did you think, though, out of 10?
Well, he doesn't offer much going forward when he's playing there, I don't think. He's not got the pace to play that Kieran Tierney type role or the Sriracha type role. He's not that type of player. But he was in there for muscle. That's why he was there, for a defensive performance. When I seen him starting there, I kind of had an idea it was going to be a defensive performance. And he did it impeccably. He gets a 9 as well.
Right, okay. 9 for you. I'll give him an 8, John. I do think he played well, but he gets that yellow card, and I think as soon as he got that yellow card, I thought he wasn't as dominant in the tackle after that, because obviously he has to watch what he's doing, John. The Rangers supporters are going to shout for everything like they did all day, didn't they? Shouted for absolutely everything. But he still gets an 8, John, which is a very, very high score. Might as well stick to the defence, John. The player that came on, young Dane Murray. What did you think of him when he came on?
Brave as a lion again. Wasn't only for the full game, but every Celtic defender threw themselves. Sorry, I'm eating a bit of Yorkie there. Hey, Dane Murray, I thought he was excellent. I'm going to give him a 7.5 Sander for the time he was on.
Yeah, you look at how much we've been leaking goals all season long, and then we put in a performance like that today. Long may it continue, John. Yeah, 7.5 for Big Dane for me in that one. Right, okay, moving to the midfield. Luke McCowan.
I thought it was poor, Xander. I can't lie. I thought he kept losing the ball in midfield. He kept passing it straight to Rangers players. I thought it was poor. He gets a 5.
6. I'll give him a 6. We definitely miss Callum today, John, for that driving force. So he gets a 6. But nothing more to say about that. I don't want to be too harsh on any of the boys, but we'll move forward, John, with Nygren. Also in the midfield. What do you think of him today?
He seems a bit scared to go in for a challenge, Nygren, didn't he? He's not that type of player going up for a header and winning a header and flying into a tackle. He's not that type of player. Very soft. He gets a 6 under.
Yeah, 6.5 I'll give him. A couple of good wee things, but nothing really to write home about. But you'll listen to when we go into the forward line. The scores won't be too high for the boys, I don't think. Rio, John, and then attacking midfielder position.
Kept giving free kicks away to them. Kept giving the ball away. But he also kind of balanced it out with showing composure at times. But he wasn't great, Sander. He was not great at all. I'm not happy with him constantly giving free kicks away. Give him a 5.5.
That's quite low, John. I thought he was okay, especially going into the latter stages of the game. I thought he was okay. 6.5 is actually quite good, isn't it? So I'll give him a 7. Very similar to you. Did you say 5.5? 5.5.
5.5 for me. I just thought it was poor, Xander, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm being a bit mean saying that, but I just noticed the amount of fouls he was giving away. But he did add the wee bits of composure and all that as well. He was good in spells and really, really poor in spells. Maybe I'm being a bit mean with 5.5. Maybe give him a 6. 6 I'll give him.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 then, John. I thought he was okay. Some of his passing was nice, but as you say, like the rest of the midfielders in the forward line, giving the ball away as well. Excuse me, guys, and we done up front, John.
What a finish. What a finish. And I still don't. I want to see cast iron proof that was offside. We're never going to see it. I'm not buying this stupid angle thing. I thought he was all right, guys, and I didn't think he was that poor. I think we've seen a wee bit more from him today. I'll give him a 6, Sander.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought he put in a lot of effort today, John, actually. A lot of running. And he scores that goal. That's allowed as well. Done some other nice stuff as well. But I'll give him a 7, just because he's in the winning team. And Tanekti on the left.
again, never get much out of him, but it was a defensive performance. So it's kind of hard to mark the boys up, but he never did that much to influence the game at all. Get a 6.
I'll give him a 6 as well, John. I mean, he wasn't even chasing back much either, John, but I'll give him a 6 anyway. And over on the right-hand side, we had Yang on the right.
Yang was poor. 5 for him. I don't want to really say too much about it, but he was quite poor, Xander. I don't want to upset anybody that might be a Yang fan, but I thought it was poor. 5 for me.
4.5 for me, John. I thought it was dreadful. Anyway, a couple of the subs, John. Let's have a wee quick word on a couple of the subs that came on. Bernardo, John, I thought he done okay when he came on actually, but not a lot of time in the game to have any sort of a major effect. But a quick score for him.
Hard to say because he wasn't on that long, was he? But he was in the winning team, so I'll give him a 5.
I was going to give him a 5 as well. Okay, and Forrest?
I like James Forrest. He's really good at controlling their long balls and stuff like that. I'll give him a 5 as well. Wasn't on for long, but never did that much in the game. He's no the kind of getting back and defend player, is he, Jamesy Forrest? I'll give him a 5.
5.5 for young Jamesy for me, young compared to me. And Mvika, who came on and played on the left.
he did a couple of nice things. Got a wee bit of pace about him, I noticed.
Yeah.
Again, never did much to impact the game at all. Again, I'll give him a 5, Xander.
Yeah, he set up the chance for Forrest to put the ball into the box, didn't he? He done a couple of nice wee tricks and turns as well. Looks quite strong as well, actually, for that young lad. If he could work on his first touch, he could be a player, that boy. He gets a 5 for me. And, of course, the winning goal scorer, John, the man who puts the ball in the net to put us into another semi-final at Hampden. Big Cvancara. What do you think about him?
Like he says, I think it's the only time he touched the ball.
Yeah.
No, he did get a couple of touches, but it wasn't effective at all. Look, he sticks the winning penalty away. He gets a 6 for that anyway, just for doing that, just for sticking the winning goal away. But he never did anything really. But I'm just giving him that 6 because he's the one that sickened the blue meanies on the other side. But Chamberlain, I don't think he did much either, to be honest with you. He gets a 5 or not.
Yeah, he also scores his penalty. I'll give both of them a 6 because they both scored the penalty. And it's just one of the performances, John, where it was totally defensive and you can't really give proper scores for players that weren't influencing the match. So I think we've been quite honest with our scores there, John. 6s, 5s, 7s, that sort of score.
Aye, well, the defenders all get big pass marks for me. Every defender that played today gets big pass marks. Midfield, a couple of pass marks. Up front, nothing really to shout about. Midfield was quite weak. But look, as a team, I think Celtic played as a team. They made it hard for Rangers to get through, and you've got to take that into account as well. Although the midfielders and attackers never did much in the defensive front, they did close all the gaps, plug all the gaps, make sure Rangers couldn't get through. And Rangers, I don't remember having that much shots in target and stuff. I know you say they had a lot of shots. I don't remember any. It must have just been shots that was blocked. Yeah. But the players have got to be there to make the blocks, and they were there. As a whole team, I think Celtic, they plugged all the gaps and made it hard for Rangers to get any space in the final third. I think as a team performance, you probably give it, as a whole team, probably give the whole team as a performance an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, sounds good to me. 8 out of 10 for the full team. I wasn't expecting it, John. When I saw the lineups, I saw Tierney was out, I saw Callum was out, all the other players were out. I wasn't expecting for us to be still in the tie come the 90th minute. I thought maybe there'd be too many changes, too many experienced players out of the squad. And boy, did they boys that came on prove me wrong, John. You know, everybody that started that game, young Arthur at the back, tremendous. Arajo, brilliant. Even your midfielders putting in their wee bit of effort as well, John. All these sort of bit part players, your Luke McCowans, your Yangs of this world. I thought they all done brilliant. I thought everybody done well. Sinisalo in goal, tremendous. I can only thank every one of the boys for giving us a fantastic weekend, John. When the Scottish press told everybody that Celtic had no chance.
Aye, well, this is it. This is the big picture, isn't it? The boys went out there, and like I says, I might have only gave guys like Luke McCown and that a 5, stuff like that, but only because they're forward-thinking players that weren't going forward. But when they were defending, they were plugging all the gaps, and they did that well. And they were just clearing the ball, and it was just coming back at them again. So for me, that's no the Celtic I'm used to seeing, if you know what I mean. But it was a masterclass of defending from Martin O'Neill. I think he set his team out to play that way. He's under big, strong defenders. And he never changed that. He never reverted back to putting a speedy left back on. You know, Sriracha, he could have put him on and maybe pushed him, but he stuck to his guns. He wanted the big, strong team in there. And the big, strong team told in the end, Xander, came out with the victory. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. We're all happy, all Celtic fans, supporters, and everybody else that's involved with Celtic is happy, John. But he did go physical, John. He did go very physical, like the Martin O'Neill teams of old. He went physical left back, physical right back, 2 physical centre halves, and the boys put us into the semi-final, John. Man of the match, were you going to say there?
That's exactly, aye.
Yeah, I was going to go for Araujo, John, but I'm going to give it to Sinisalo. I thought he was tremendous today. He came out for everything. He's brilliant today, cross balls, John. He really is good. He comes for them at least. And he's not scared to get hurt either, John. He was down a couple of times, hurt, and just gets back up again. So I'm giving the man of the match to Sinisalo.
Aye, well, I'm torn between Sinisalo and Trusty. I've got to go with Sinisalo. Trusty, brave as a lion today. I thought it was probably his best game I've seen him for Celtic. But I've got to agree with you, Xander. I've got to go with Sinisalo. Coming out and heading the ball halfway in his own half and all that stuff, and playing like a sweeper keeper. He came for everything. Nothing get past him. Aye, I agree with you. I'm going to go with Sinisalo as well, because it was a defensive performance, and without a top goalkeeper behind you, then you're getting beat. And he was there to stop everything.
Yeah,
it was outstanding, Xander. I can't disagree with that. Sinisalo for me as well.
Yeah, okay, fair play, John. Sinisalo gets our man of the match. If you disagree, leave a comment who you think the man of the match was. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're into the next round of the cup, semi-final. We've knocked Rangers out of both cups, and we've got a chance to end our league challenge as well, John, when we're playing them at Celtic Park. I think it's next month, actually. We're playing them at Celtic Park. So, it's all good. It's all good just now anyway. I know we've got a bit of catching up to do in the league. Just hope that this spurs us on, John. It gives us a wee bit of extra motivation and a wee bit extra confidence going forward.
We always say this, don't we? Is that given the Celtic players are lifted at the spark we need, and then the next game we're no very good again. But look, that's got to give you a lift. Everything that happened the other day, to come out dominant, they're written off by everybody. And I hope Martin O'Neill is getting clippings of guys like Tom English and all that, and letting the Celtic players hear that, to hear what the country's saying about them. Because we know Celtic's got players there, we've got good players there, they're not doing it right now. And you've got to remember, more than half your team's out injured. So to go there and get a win today is outstanding. And I just hope and pray that does give them a lift today. Something's got to give them a lift to help them push on, play Motherwell next week, take care of them. Knowing that Celtic can defend like that gives me a lot of confidence as well, Xander. Knowing they can defend like that, that's a bonus.
It's a big bonus, John, and I think Martin's going to look at that from here on in to the end of the season, the defensive, because I mean that was flawless today, John, absolutely flawless today. And as I say, John, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this weekend. I'm really going to relax, enjoy it, because I've been stressed about it for Friday onwards, thinking about this game, John. It's now over. We're into the next round of the cup. We've knocked our rivals out of both cups. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
It's brilliant, Xander. Absolutely fantastic. And it's all the wee blue meanies, they will all be sick right now, you know what I mean? That just makes me happy as well, knowing how sick they are. And I hope they're all proud of themselves, firing missiles into families and stuff. Firing fireworks into them. But there you go, that's done. So we've got St Mirren are playing tonight, I'll watch that. And who are you hoping for in the next round, Xander? Who would you take, Lenny against Martin O'Neill?
I mean, that would be interesting, John, wouldn't it? Neil Lennon at Hampden against the gaffer, as he likes to call him, didn't he? So, yeah, I'll take Dunfermline all day long, to be honest with you, John. St Mirren are try and dodge them like the plague. Partick Thistle, I'll be saying that as well. And who's the other one that's still in it? There's another team still in it. I can't remember who it is.
Well, it's us, Partick Thistle or St Mirren.
Yeah.
Dunfermline and Falkirk.
Falkirk, that's the team. I want to try and dodge Falkirk and St Mirren just now. If we could get Partick Thistle or Dunfermline. That would be ideal, John. But, you know, we're going to get St Mirren or Falkirk, aren't we? Let's be honest. The draw's not been kind to us, John, all these away ties, etc. But, you know, we're came through it. We're through the other side. And we're in the hat, John. So 9:30 tonight, folks, listen to that Scottish Cup draw after the St Mirren game. And you'll see who we get. Good luck to Celtic anyway. John, you want to sum it up for us? How you're feeling and what happens going forward, buddy?
I'm absolutely ecstatic, Xander. Of course I'm ecstatic with that. It's a gift from the gods, that one today. It really, really is, considering the team we started that game with. Don't think anybody expected Celtic to win. I kind of had a feeling in the back of my mind we were going through, to be honest with you. I did have that feeling. That was before Kieran Tierney and Callum McGregor were deemed missing. But I was right. I went with my instinct. I thought we would get through, and we did get through. I'm happy with that. I'm hoping for an easier draw for Hampden in the next game. I would like to see Celtic against Dunfermline, if I'm being honest. I'd like to see that. Martin O'Neill against Neil Lennon. And look, by the time we get around to that game, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have some key players back by then. And we'll start to show the form that we're used to seeing from Celtic once we get our key players back. I'm sure you'll see a different Celtic, Xander, once we get our key players back. Well, they've been missing all season. We've had constant big players injured all throughout this season. And I think it's a remarkable job Martin O'Neill's done to get us through the semi-final. But if you're asking me who I'm hoping for, it's Lenny against Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting, John. Went to Dunfermline. We've been keeping an eye on them all season long, actually. We've got a full week's rest as well, actually. Full week's rest to recover from Motherwell next weekend, John. All right, we'll call it a day there. Just hope everybody got home safe from Ibrox Stadium today. All the Celtic supporters got home safely. That's all that matters to John and myself. Get home safely, have a wee drink, relax, enjoy your team going through to another semi-final. Just enjoy your night. Look forward to your work tomorrow as well. Going in bragging rights, Celtics, aren't they? Because we were written off, of course. So we'll be back on Wednesday, folks. We'll do a podcast on Wednesday in a more sort of settled situation. Obviously, all the news is going to come out about all this carry on, and Celtic will be dragged right into it, even though it's nothing to do with us. But we'll see what happens between now and Wednesday. John, we'll catch you on Wednesday, buddy.
I'll catch you Wednesday, Xander. Hail. Enjoy the rest of your night, mate.
Well, John, you too. Hail. Everybody catch you all on Wednesday.